Good morning, buddies. It is 07:26 a.m. and I am on my way home from work. Thank you, Jesus. I have a new job. Today was day 6. Not really day 6, but it was day 6 of my first hitch. A hitch is your shift of 7 days. So we work 7 days on, 7 days off, 7 nights on, 7 off, 7 days. Anyway, and each shift is 12 hours. So anyway, I'm very grateful for my new job, and I'm heading home. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunset, and this dude is sitting at a green light. Let's go, bro. I want to go sleep. Let's go. So I was thinking it's been a while since I had a story time. And a few hours ago, I was going through my email to find some photos to show this lady I work with. And I just so happened to come across an email from 2011 that I sent home. And I was talking about my first few days in Afghanistan. And I read this email and I laughed so hard because I remembered everything. It was absolutely crazy what went on those first 3 or 4 days. And I just thought it was so hilarious. So what I remember from the email, I remember talking about, before I even got to Afghanistan, when I was at the USACE Deployment Center, there was a young lady, and we were really good friends. And 2 years later, when she had just bugged the command so much they just couldn't deal with her anymore, they curtailed her and she went home. And she was so upset at going home that she decided that she didn't like me anymore. But when we first started the adventure, she, so to speak, hooked her wagon to my star. That's a joke. But she hooked herself to me, and she was absolutely hilarious. But she had a nickname for me. She called me Wrinkle Nuts, which I know that's pretty foul, but it was just so stupid. And she claimed her purpose for going to Afghanistan was to repopulate the country by impregnating as many soldiers as she could. And anyway, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. So while I'm en route to Afghanistan, I'm getting contacted by some former work associates who knew I was coming, and they were so sweet. They couldn't wait to see me. It was just absolutely wonderful that I was going to be boots on the ground in a new organization, and people were there waiting, and they couldn't wait to see me. It was really sweet and exciting. And the funny thing is this group was not even my department. It was a completely different, it was a sub-department, but it wasn't my department. It eventually became one because I had forgotten about this, but while I was en route to Afghanistan, I was going to be the administrative assistant for project management division. But while I was on my way there, unbeknownst to me, the chief of that gave me up to engineering and construction division. And it was very fortuitous that she did. Now, after I was there a few weeks, she did everything she could to get me back. But they're like, nope, we've got her. And I'm really happy about that. Matter of fact, after being there about 9 months, the administrative officer that was there, she cheated on some R&R. She fibbed about her R&R. She made up an emergency Red Cross R&R when she just really wanted to go home and see her new husband. So they told her to stay home, and they promoted me to that administrative officer position. So it worked out wicked. Anyway, so this other department, they met me at the airfield, and it was all hugs and kisses and so sweet. And so my very, very first impression of Afghanistan, they're driving me around the base, which was Kandahar Airfield. And at that time, there was 30,000 people on that base. 30,000. I think this guy's mad at me for honking at him, so he's trying to make me miss the green light. But so we get there, and we're driving around this dusty base, and they're showing me there's 6 dining facilities, and I think I visited 3 of them in that first day. But the very first thing I noticed about Afghanistan was the soldiers and the contractors on that base. It was almost as if they felt invincible, because everywhere we drove, there was hundreds of people milling about the road, because we were circling the PX and the boardwalk. They had all these little juice shops and burger joints and stuff like that. So there was a lot of units that I learned later on. There was a lot of units there that was like ripping in and out of country, and that was like their staging area. So they were just everywhere. And what I noticed was they were not looking left or right, nothing. They were just meandering through the street where cars and convoys were whipping around. And I remember these guys were just stepping out from between cars into the middle of the street and looking you dead in the eye as they walked across. And I was like, they feel invincible. They're in Afghanistan. They feel like they are bulletproof. And that was my first impression of that. And then I went to move into my housing unit, or my CHU, my containerized housing unit. And when you first got there, because the housing was short, you had to for a certain amount of time you had to share a room until a room came available, and it was seniority and boots on ground time and stuff like that. So my very first housing unit there was in a pad called Grainyville, and I didn't learn this till later. I asked, why is this called Grainyville? And as it turns out, that pad of housing units was named after the project engineer that designed it, and his name was Bill Grainy, and somebody coined it Grainyville. So I was in there, and my roommate was a very nice older woman, and this is what I read in the email, and I completely forgot about this. I read this email this morning, and I burst out laughing. It was because I cannot believe I actually witnessed this, but it was hilarious. This woman, when I walked into the CHU, shut the door behind me, I introduced myself. She came at me with her hand out to shake my hand. She was so sweet. She said, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. I am a 62-year-old senior citizen." That's exactly how she introduced herself. And that's exactly what I wrote in the email. That is exactly how she introduced herself. The very next thing she did was squat over a trash can and urinate. Yeah, I said it. That's exactly what she did. That was my very first day in Afghanistan. My brand new roommate dropped trowel in front of me, squatted over a trash can, and urinated. And I was absolutely dumbstruck. I was in shock. And she said, "I'm older and I can't make it to the bathroom sometimes, so I do this." And she said, "Don't worry, you have your own trash can, and I won't." It was crazy, absolutely crazy. So I was with her a few weeks until she moved on, and then that room became mine. But I remember furiously Cloroxing stuff because I had no idea what she had touched, and I had no idea if pee-pee splashed anywhere. But that is my honest to truth very first day in Afghanistan. Gosh, what else happened? They occasionally had meetings, and they were, what were they called? Consideration of others. They called them consideration or others, or something about improvement or something like that. So this young girl, and this is after we had been there probably a month or so, and we were like attached to the hip, and she was kind of embarrassing. She would do stupid stuff sometimes. It was really embarrassing. But there was a consideration of others meeting, and this command sergeant major named Virgil something, he absolutely hated my guts. And I can only think that the reason was, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because everybody knew me? I don't know. I really don't know why he did not like me. It's like he was always looking for me to see if my uniform was correct, or if I had my hair tucked under my cap, or I don't know. I really have no idea why he had an issue with me. But and coincidentally, a year later, after he ripped out, he emailed me constantly asking me for a job, as if I could. That was nothing I could do. Oh, look, my niece is getting ready to go to work. But anyway, that's all for now. Much more later. I hope you guys have a good day. You know, I got something just so hilarious to tell it. So we went to this consideration, and this girl was going to bring up the fact that something about uniforms and how we should be able to wear something different. And I said to her, let me say hi.
The dog is outside, and yeah.
Mwah! I love you.
I know.
So she wanted to go to this meeting, and she wanted to bring up something about uniforms. She was gonna want to say to these military guys I can't remember what, but I remember telling her, do not do that. Do not do that. I remember saying that to her because I said to her, the military does not care that we're unhappy with our uniforms. They don't care. And that's because they don't have a choice. They have to wear uniforms, and we have a choice. We can wear our issued uniform, or we can wear our civilian uniform, which was khakis and the unit approved polo shirt. So I begged her, I said, please don't bring that up, because it will not go down well, because we're very lucky that we have this relaxed uniform of a polo and khakis. Please don't bring that up. She brought it up. And this command sergeant major, who did not like me at all, laughed her out of the room. And this girl was so humiliated that once we were outside, she burst into tears, which I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked, because this girl was constantly cursing out men, and just had people by their earlobes all the time. So I was absolutely shocked that she went outside and started bawling. And I'm like, why are you crying? You know, why did you ask that? I begged you not to bring that up. And she was so angry, and she was angry at me. She was so mad at me. For some reason, she had it in her mind that if I had backed her up, that this would not have happened. Which I don't understand that. I have no idea why she thought that I would have any control over what somebody thought about that. But anyway, she got over it the next day. But anyway, she was there. She was supposed to be there for 2 years. But her shenanigans just really got she was absolutely hilarious. She really was. She did some stuff that was so hilarious. I lied to her and told her that our dining facility meal card was a WIC card, and because she was so young and she didn't have children, she didn't know what a WIC card was. She believed me, so she went to the J shop and asked for them to issue her WIC card. And she actually was not mad at me for that, because it was actually funny. Oh gosh. Anyway, those were my very first impressions of Afghanistan, and that's my story time for today. So hope you guys have a good week, and I will talk to you later.